to our Single and Satisfied Tour session. I'm Charbria Shine, and I'm here with my husband.
Louis Shine.
Hello. So I want to just invite you guys to our first online session for the Single and Satisfied Tour. Because of COVID-19, we had to cancel our tour. We're going all over the Midwest. That was our starting point. And so, hopefully you're doing safe. We're praying for you guys. No fear, God's got us. But we didn't want to stop just because, we're kind of on the lockdown right now. We still wanted to go forward. So we just wanted to get on here and encourage you guys if you're single. And we just wanted to kind of just talk to you. And so I just kind of, for you guys who don't know my story, I'm going to very briefly kind of go through my story because it is a long story, right?
It's long.
So we don't want to drag it out. We just want to briefly kind of just introduce who we are in our story. And so I'm Charbria Shine, as I said. I am the author of Single and Satisfied, The Single Woman's Guide to Fulfillment. And I'm also the founder of the Single and Satisfied Movement, which is an online ministry group for single women. And my story, it pretty much just goes like this. I was single for a time, not satisfied in it, struggling. Like, when am I going to get a man? I'm getting older. I'm past my 20s. Now I'm getting in my 30s. Like, what's going on? And then I got to the point and had to ask myself, like, am I going to stay miserable because I'm single? And my answer was no. Like, I'm the type of person that I'm like, I can't stay miserable. I need to be able to thrive in my life no matter whether I have a man or whether I don't have a man. And that's just kind of what I had to do. And I had to learn to find fulfillment and wholeness in God and God alone, and to learn how to love my life, enjoy it, and not wait until I get a man to start living and start enjoying it.
You are God alone.
Oh, God. Guys.
I had to do that.
Really?
Go ahead.
So, you see what I'm getting myself into, y'all, to marry him. But yeah, so anyway, pretty much I really focused on how can a woman be single and truly satisfied. Doesn't mean that you can't desire marriage, but how can you live in a satisfied state now, being content and whole and thriving and enjoying your life and reaching your goals now in your single season, and not trying to wait until this happens or that happens. I really wanted that. And I asked God, I'm like, Lord, teach me, give me wisdom. How do I do this? And that's exactly what he did. And, I was able to, be content in my life, start reaching my goals and dreams, starting my bucket list, just thriving and trying to really be whole within myself and heal from my past, because I had a past and I had to heal from that and recognize that I needed healing. And also I didn't want to dump all my baggage on my husband, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I healed from a lot of, the past relationship stuff. And so I got to the point where I was like, I'm tired of going out with these randoms. I'm tired of trying to find my husband. Like, I'm just going to settle down, God, and just be by myself, trust you, learn who I am as a woman, heal, become a better woman for myself first and foremost, not for a man, because I feel like the key is loving self first, discovering who you are first, loving yourself, and really, thriving to be a better woman for you first and foremost, and focusing on that relationship with God. And then I feel like when you do that, you could be that virtuous woman or that good thing, the prize for the man. Because I feel like too many times we're trying to, become, Mrs. Right. And it's like, become Mrs. Right for yourself first, not for that man. Because if you're Mrs. Right for yourself first, and, you're really focused on a relationship with God, that man will come. And so that's just where I got content. And I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm going to focus on you. And honestly, I focused also on purity, like not sleeping around, not like none of that. Just like, Lord, I want to be pure for you. I want your blessing in my life, Lord. I really want to, just be single and satisfied and love my life. And that when or if a man found me, that he would find me single and satisfied, loving my life, thriving, like doing my thing. And that's exactly what happened. Like, when I met Louis, I was focusing on ministry. I was focusing on my business. I had already gone back to school. Like, I was just really, I had just finished writing my book. I had a blog. I had a website. Like, I was just really focusing on my passion, my purpose. And I wasn't concerned anymore about getting married or not getting married. Like, that literally wasn't a big concern anymore. And I know that that's not easy. Like, sometimes it can be very difficult to get to that place. But I had to really, really give my heart to God and give that part of my life to God and say, God, and it was constantly, I'd say, God, I give this part of my life to you. I give the loneliness that I might be feeling right now to you. I give the insecurities that no men are trying to check for me right now to you. All those things, like even when I went to call my exes or go out with randoms, like I'm like, God, I give this to you. Like, I had to fight through it. It wasn't easy, but I had to fight through it. And then not too long after, it was almost a decade for me, but not too long after I met my husband, and I wasn't even searching at that point. I was over it, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I was over it. I was like, Lord, I'm good. Like, I'm thriving. I'm enjoying my life. Like, I'm doing good, within my job, my business, like the stuff that I'm enjoying. And like, I'm like, I don't need a man in my life. Like, if you send him, great, God. If you don't, great, God. Like, I trust you. I love you. Like, we're doing this thing right now. And I was just so proud that I had really gotten to the place of being single and satisfied. So, anything you want to add, babe?
Not right there, but
like a male's perspective.
Male's perspective. No, I mean, for a male, that's the kind of woman a godly man looks for. The path that she took and just getting herself focused. Like, I was always looking for somebody that was focusing about their business. It wasn't. I didn't want somebody that just wasn't doing nothing. And it's one thing to not know what you're called to do and you're seeking God, but that's still attractive. But I had a set of things I was looking for anyway, and I wanted a woman of God, and just going through so many different experiences, life teaches you and shows you what you want and what you don't want, and when you get of age and you get older, you still continue to trim things off of that list or add things to that list. So I did that over time. So that's for me. That's why it was easy to see through her, even though she don't think I know her like that. As a man of God,
he learning me,
right? Like, as a man of God, I can see certain things.
Discernment.
It's discernment. It's not hard to see certain things, especially if there's things that you want. Because many of you may have dealt with counterfeits already, or different people that just relationships didn't work out. And so it's no knock against them. God bless them. But, situations didn't work out, but you learn from it, and you learn what you didn't want or what you do want because you went through that, So I had a lot of those type of situations. And so, in my journey of just waiting for God to bless me with somebody, it wasn't the easiest, because you do want somebody,
right.
But the easy thing for me is when I get my mind on something, it's there. So not too little bit out before I met her, it was not even a lot of time. I just kind of got my mind in the mode and was just like, okay, forget this. I'm gonna focus on what I'm doing. I'm gonna focus on coaching. I'm gonna focus on God, and God, I'm gonna stop trying to find her.
Yeah.
I went through seasons where I'm like, ooh, new city, I'm about to get dressed, go up to church, man, she gotta be at this church, I've been looking,
Got to meet babe.
You know what I'm saying? So I moved to a new city, and it was like, man, she gotta be down here somewhere, and so
I wasn't, y'all.
She wasn't. She was where I left from. Ain't that crazy?
12 hours away.
But you for so long, I did things, and you don't really outwardly say certain things, but on the inside, I knew that, oh man, I'm hoping I see her today. I'm gonna get dressed real nice. Versus, man, get sharp because you want to get sharp.
Yeah.
Or
for yourself.
Yeah, or don't go to church always thinking I might meet her today. Like, what if you just like let that go, because you've already prayed to the Lord? So now let Him answer your prayer versus trying to pray it, casting the care, then go pick it back up. Lord, I'm going to church today, but she might be around. I'm gonna scan the crowd. You know what I mean? It became tiring, and for me, it became an idol. And many of you may know what I'm talking about. You may not, but if you feel me, like that thing can become such a weight and a care that now
it's like controlling your life.
Yeah. So it's
driving force.
Exactly. So I got tired of it. It's like, man, forget this. Like, let's Lord here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't taking it back. I got things to do. I'm gonna be about my business. And so when I got in that mindset, it wasn't long. And all of a sudden I seen her on social media, and the rest was history.
Yeah.
And we had a mutual friend, and it just went from there. I inquired.
Did he put a ring on?
It didn't take long to do that either.
It sure did.
It was probably a little over 6 months.
Yeah.
And it would have been quicker, but we lived
12 hours away.
Yeah, we lived 12 hours away. So, I didn't want to propose.
How quick would that have been, you think?
It would have. I mean, you got to think about it. We started counseling before I put the ring on your finger.
Yeah, we started counseling before we were even engaged, and I'm glad we did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we really want to help and wisdom throughout the courtship process, and so I'm glad that we did
Yeah.
that. I just want to say too, like, I don't want to assume that every single woman desires marriage. Like, I don't assume that, and nothing is wrong with that if you don't. When I was single, I got so tired of people assuming, oh, you need a man, you want to be married, we ain't gonna get married. Like, sometimes you're just okay being single and you just want to thrive in life and live, after your purpose, or, serving God and going after what you feel like is your passion and your purpose for your life. And that's totally fine. So I want to encourage that woman who feels like, right now, I'm not even checking for marriage. I'm not even worried about it. I'm okay. Girl, and that's okay.
Run,
like, that is okay.
go.
Yes, like, live
your
your
life. You good.
There's so many freedoms, like, in being single. And I'm a newlywed. We're newlyweds, and marriage is so beautiful, but it is different. Let's just be real. It's different. Like, we talk about it already. Like, as being a bachelor, he could do whatever. Like, and I don't mean ungodly things, because he wasn't even like that, but just the freedom of, like, I ask a lot of questions. I'm gonna be real. And, like, I ask a lot of questions. And, like, I'm learning now not to ask him so many questions, but I'm just inquisitive, and I like to talk. And so, like, hold on. No. See, he cut me off, y'all.
So here's the thing. Sorry.
Let me make my point. Then you tell me here's the thing. So my point is, like, when he was single, he didn't have to deal with that. Or, like, for me, like, if I just want to not ever cook, not ever clean, just chill. I'm going to be real. In my singleness, some days I didn't want to do my hair, y'all. I just wanted to stay in bed all day and binge watch Netflix. Now, that's not to say that I don't binge watch Netflix now. Sometimes we do. We still have freedoms. Thank God we're not controlling in our marriage. However, it's just very different. So if you're in that season of singleness, like, it's all about perspective. Like, and I'm glad I got that perspective before we met, to run with my life, enjoy it, like, take advantage of every freedom I had in my singleness. And I did. And that's why I don't have to regret now, because it is different. I don't have to regret now that, man, I do have a husband, and there is somebody else to consider. If I'm in a mood, that may just impact him. And when I didn't have a husband, if I'm in a mood, I'm in a mood. Like, leave me alone. I'm going to my room. I'm about to watch my movie. Now it's not like that. Now it's like, if I'm in a mood, it can impact him. And I have to think about those things. And so enjoy your singleness. Like, really enjoy it. Because if you do desire marriage, so let's go on the other end, there is going to be a change. Of course, there's the infatuation, there's love, there's the feelings of love, that honeymoon stage. But the thing about marriage is Satan hates marriage. So there's an immediate attack on marriage, because marriage is ordained by God. So there's just different challenges. There's challenges in being single. We know that, right? And it seems hard sometimes, but y'all, it's challenges in marriage, and it also seems hard sometimes. So you have to change your perspective that whatever state you're in, single or married, be content and learn to enjoy it and thrive in it. Like, now I could be like, oh, now I gotta cook, now I gotta do that. But it's like, it was a time when I was single where I was like, man, I want a husband.
Can't
so
go
now,
on me now,
So it's like, now it's like, enjoy it. God bless me with a good man, like a great man. Is he perfect? No. Does he get on my nerves sometimes? Yes, and vice versa.
I don't get on your nerves. What you talking about?
Y'all, you get on my nerves today.
She got on mine today too.
I did. We both did, and that's what I'm saying. The beauty of it is, like, it's life. We're human. We're not perfect. But we have to realize, even in that, it's still beauty in marriage, communication, working out. You're going to have hard times. You're going to have great times. You're going to have beautiful times. You're going to have times where you're going to be like, why did I get married? Am I sure about this? And that's okay. Am I being real? Like, I'm just being honest, because I don't want single women, or men for that matter, to think like, when you get married, it's a fairy tale. Everything is perfect, amazing. No. We're never going to get on each other's nerves. Like, our love story is like a fairy tale. It really is. But the reality of marriage is still beautiful. Like, we still have an amazing marriage, but we have to work through some things, because we're two imperfect people. And again, because God brought us together, the enemy would love to tear us apart. So for me, I would say there's a lot of growing for me, and there's a lot of learning. But even in my singleness, honestly, to be single and satisfied, there was a lot of learning and a lot of growing as well. So perspective. Don't be depressed because you're single, because you could be married and still be depressed. Perspective. You have to learn. And for me, the discontentment thing, it's an issue of the heart. When I was single, there was a time where I was discontent. And then, thank God, I learned how to be content. And then in my marriage, I'm newlywed, but still, I was very content. And then the enemy tried to bring discontentment in that already. And I'm like, devil, we just got married. Well, it's a spirit. It's a condition of the heart. It's like, no, this spirit of discontentment has to go, because I'm glad to be married. I want to be married. And you have to battle those thoughts with the word of God, and the same thing in singleness. And so I'm learning, I'm growing. Like, I feel like, I really excelled in my singleness. Is that a good word to say? Like I really learned and grew and learned how to thrive. And now being a newlywed is so new. Because again, I was like, I'm single and satisfied. I'm good, baby. I'm independent. And now it's like, girl, you got a husband, a whole husband. Like you have to learn now it's not just about independence. It's about collaboration, communication. You know, we're a union now. It's so different. So my point is, enjoy the season you're in. Like stop thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. No, the grass is green where you water it. So if you're single, water yourself. Self-care, self-love, healing, wholeness, finding hobbies and things you love to do, finding other single women and men to do life with, to enjoy life with, get involved in church, grow, learn, go after your goals and dreams. And then when you get married, wait on God. Because the beauty that I could say about my marriage, I don't have the same story as some women that now I'm married, now I feel like I'm in bondage, or I can't go out, or I can't pursue my dreams, or my husband ain't like that.
I'll be trying to make her go do stuff.
You do. He's very supportive and loving, and I don't feel like I'm in a jail cell. So my experience from going from single to married doesn't feel like now I'm in chains, and it shouldn't feel like that. Now there will be some differences and some compromises now, and I can't just do me and don't ever consider him. However, but it's not like he's a loving person, so it's not like, where you going, woman? What you doing? It's not like that. We have a partnership.
Where you going, anime?
Oh God. So from a male's perspective, I just want to ask you some questions. So you guys might be thinking like, man, those who desire marriage, I've been waiting. And I feel like the kind of man you're talking about is not out there. And the kind of man that I've talked about in like my book or on my blogs or, in my little sessions is a man that loves God, a man that truly loves God. He truly has a relationship with Jesus Christ. So because of that, he desires to love you like Christ loves the church. Doesn't mean he's going to be perfect, but he strives to love you like Christ loves the church. And that kind of man who wants to live in purity, who wants to honor you until marriage. And so some women are like, man, no good men out there. And it's all about perspective. That may be rare, good godly man, or a man who truly wants to honor you. It may be rare, but you have to know that you are rare. You are rare. You're a child of the Most High God. You're a virtuous woman. And it doesn't matter if you made mistakes or whatever. I'm not talking about that. If you're a child of God, and have a relationship with Jesus Christ, like you are a rarity and he loves you. And if you desire marriage, he has a man of God for you. You have to remember, the word tells us that a man who finds a good thing, a man who finds a wife, finds a good thing. You're the good thing. You're the prize. So he has to come find you. You don't have to be desperate. You don't have to search. But for those of you who feel like, man, that kind of man, I ain't met none of those kind of men. I want to just encourage you that men like that are out there. But I want my husband to talk from that perspective, because we had not a debate, but a healthy discussion. And I said, I don't want to tell women, to wait for this type of man. And some of them might be feeling like, man, Charbria, you just got lucky or you just got blessed. There's no good godly men out there like that who want to honor you to marriage and all these great things, who courted you. And because we had a true courtship, like chivalry is not dead, courting isn't dead. Like he courted me. He did things. It was just a beautiful thing that we had. And some women might feel like men aren't out there like that anymore. And I want to get from his perspective, because sometimes I have felt like men are like this. They don't desire courtship. They don't desire to, purity. They don't desire this or that. And I want him to talk from a male's perspective about, purity and waiting on a good woman and the type of woman that, you guys might look for in those types of things. But hit on the discussion that we had about like my argument with some women feel like there is no men who want to wait till marriage to have sex. There's no men who want to honor, their girl until they get married, or the whole chivalry thing.
Well, here's the thing, like, before you pass a statement or a thought of there is no good men out there,
because their experiences, yeah.
Give me a second. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be cutting me off. See, I'm about to have fight already.
You got to think about like your experience versus the billions and trillions of experiences on the planet. Like your experience doesn't set the tone for any other possibility that could come to your life. Like it just, so you have to.
Sorry for the noise, guys.
I hope y'all can hear us. We ain't your experience is just one experience, but you can't let that paint the picture for your entire life, because if you do, then it's going to ruin your expectation. You have to let that go. That's just like saying if it's one man that does something, then all men are like that. Mm-hmm. So literally you're saying all of the 2 or 3 billion men on the planet, all of them like that, just because of the one guy that was like that. Mm-hmm. And that's why
Well, what if it's several? What if a woman's experience has been that men are dogs, or she's always been hurt, and maybe all her friends around her have also had these same experiences, maybe being lied to, cheated on, used. What can you say to that woman?
Well, there's a few things I can say, and y'all might not like to hear this kind of stuff, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you keep running into the same experience over and over again, or maybe your friends' same experience over and over again, somewhere in there you gotta begin to look at yourself. Are you choosing wrong? Like why do you keep choosing these people? And the same thing keeps happening. You also need to look at where you are with the Lord, because God ain't gonna lead you into a trap. He ain't gonna lead you into something that's gonna harm you. So somewhere in there you have to, I guess, be mature in your mindset of it, because I've seen people that play victim and oh man, I can't find, every time I give somebody they hurt me, or then it's kind of like, okay, who are you choosing?
So like, maybe they're ignoring the warning signs, or maybe because I've seen it sometimes, or in my life, where a certain person is like a random or a counterfeit, but you're lonely, or you just, maybe you're used to a certain kind of guy and it keeps ending heartache. So you're saying, look at yourself. Who are you allowing in your life?
Not only that though, here's the thing, like you look at yourself, but you also got to follow wisdom. Like why is it that people can do anything else? Like if they're putting a sink in a house, if you're gonna fix a part on a car, you get instructions. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you put the table together you bought at Walmart, or some little coffee table, whatever, you looking at them instructions, say 1, then 2 do this, then 3 do this. But when it comes to relationships, I think the human race is so frivolous and I'm just gonna try it out and do it. But instead of getting wisdom about it, or reading a book about, and I ain't saying just like a book about relationships. Right. You gotta think about who created
a godly book.
See how she be doing me?
A godly book.
A godly book, and you have to learn what
collaboration, y'all.
Right. You got to learn what a relationship really is, and then you got to learn what a marriage really is. You can't just take a stab in the dark in a marriage either. So, if you keep seeing the same situations, you have to turn and look at yourself, because it's either in your choosing, or it's either in you're not listening to the Lord and not seeing red flags and different things. So that's why you got to read those books, so that you can see what a red flag is. If you know that when somebody does something isn't a red flag, you got to look at yourself. You haven't gotten the wisdom for it. So learn about it before you do it. Learn about dating before you date. Or when you get hurt, you'll be like, well, wow, how did that happen to me? Well, it happened because of you ran 3 red lights, A, B, C, that the book that somebody tried to give to you, or that your pastor might have recommended, you didn't read that, So I think it's time for us to take, men and women, take personal responsibility to what's going on. No, I hate things that happen. I don't condone bad things that happen to people, getting hurt, different things. Like, I've been there too. I've done the hurting. I've been hurt. I know how it feels, However, when I do look back on those things, I see where, you know what? That was a red flag. Yeah. I should have never tolerated that. You know what? I should have got out of the relationship right there. You know what? I shouldn't have drugged that person, on that long. Yeah. I should have just got out the relationship. Like, we can all look back on those things. So, I say 2020. This is clear vision, 2020. Yeah. I don't know, people make all that, but
that's a good point, because I would say, looking back at some of our relationships in the past, there were some warning signs, and then I end up in this huge situation and heartbreak, and it's like I finally just sat there in my in my sadness and had to think about it, and it's like, man, yep, that was there. Yep, this would happen. Yeah, yeah, he did have one or not. Like, just different things. But, sometimes you make excuses for a person. And honestly, if you're having sex with somebody, that don't help. You can't think clearly. Like, once you start having sex, especially like if it's good sex, let's just be honest, then it's just like, you're not thinking clearly. You're not seeing that person for who they really are, what's really going on. And then the lust is involved, and the soul ties involved, and your spiritual connectedness is involved, and you're being blind to certain things. You just can't see everything clearly. So that's why it's very important to make sure you keep that out of a relationship, because you're not going to see clearly if that's there, or messing around or fooling around and different things like that. You won't. So that's just something that I'm really big on, because I've been there, done that, and then looked back and regretted the situation and just like, man, like if I would have kept things pure, I would have been able to think clearer, because, you know, hormones and chemical exchange and all the things, the chemical changes that are going on in the brain when you're sexually active. It's a lot, you know, even scientifically as well as spiritually. And we don't think about those things. And I thank God, like with us, that we didn't have sex. We waited to have sex till marriage, and I was able to think clearer. I was able to really see wisdom. I was able to, you know, hear God clearly, see the warning signs or not warning signs. And I want to say this too, just because you see something that you don't prefer about a person, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a warning sign not to be with a person. Know the difference. Like, for example, let's just say, I could say if I talk a lot and he's like, man, was she wearing me out talking a lot? That doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, that's a bad match for me. But you do have to ask yourself, if this person never changes with how they are right now, can I be with this person? Can I live with this person? The hope, our prayer is that we all want to get better. We all want to learn and grow, get closer to God, develop more fruits of the Spirit. But the truth of the matter is, we may not all reach that potential. So when you're dating or courting a person, you have to ask yourself, if they never change, can I live with them forever like this? And those were some things that, you know, we both had to ask. There were some things that I don't like about him. There's some things he doesn't like about me.
Man, you like everything about me. See how she gonna do when she get on camera? I'm joking.
Anyways, no. But here's the thing. Majority of the stuff I do love about him. And that's the thing, that the great outweigh the not so great, right? And vice versa. But the things that we don't like about each other, we can live with them. But the truth is, we hope that we do improve, right? And that we do change. And, you know, even in our short months of being married now, 7 months now, we're changing. We're learning, we're growing how to, you know, live together, how to, you know, work together, because we're both two really independent people, very strong-willed, but very quick to apologize. So that's the great thing about us. We want to collaborate, but we both have been single for a long time. He just turned 40, I'm 35. Woo, woo.
25.
And we got married just like 7 months ago, and we only dated for, help me out, babe. We only dated for 6 months before we got engaged, and then we got engaged within a year of knowing each other. Mm-hmm. So it was really quickly. And when we courted, we lived 12 hours from each other. So this was definitely a God thing, because neither one of us was about that long distance life. But God did it. And even in this short time, because we didn't have a long time of dating or courting, it's a lot of growing, a lot of getting to know each other. And we've talked to other married couples that even when they've dated a while longer, they're still always growing and learning. And you're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to learn more about your partner. You're going to learn stuff you don't like about yourself, because sometimes that other partner will bring it out. You'll see the ugly in you and vice versa. And then you'll start working on it. Just like today, if we could be honest, today we had like some struggles this morning, and it was just like, but learning to grow and fight through it, I think that is beautiful. But I think it's worth, he's smiling, I think it's worth waiting on the person.
She went crazy on me.
Yeah, this is worth, it's worth waiting. Don't lie, I did not go crazy. Did I go crazy on you? Tell the truth, shame the devil.
You know, go ahead.
But basically, go ahead, babe, you can go.
Nope, you go.
He's preferring me now. Okay.
See? How you doing, fellas?
So, what was I saying, babe? I forgot.
Oh, you know.
Oh, you messed me up, y'all. I was in my flow, babe. You messed me up. Okay, so I think I was trying to say, bottom line is, like, if you're single and you do desire marriage, wait on the person that God has for you. Like, it is so worth waiting.
Please wait.
Like, don't be with somebody out of impatience.
Yeah, don't rush it.
This is like a lifelong thing. Like, now the thing about it is, like, when you say those vows, like I thought about it one day. Like, I woke up, I was already married, and I'm like, dang, like, those vows, for better or for worse. Like when you start going through things in life and it starts to get a little tough, you'll be like, dang, but I make those vows for better or for worse. Like, yeah, you're all happy at the wedding, smiling, but it's like, think about what you're saying, for better or for worse. So if the worst thing happens, like, you're supposed to work through these things. And of course, I'm not, saying if you're getting beaten or constantly cheated on that you're supposed to end. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, different things, you know, that you're going to go through life. You're going to go through hard times. That's just life. You're going to have to work through those things. So you want to choose wisely. And I think definitely keeping sex out of your relationship, having a personal relationship with God and other wise counsel around you is a great help. Like we had wise counsel. As we said, as we told you, we started counsel before we were engaged because we were older. We knew what we wanted. We knew what we didn't want. We also knew like once we get engaged, we want to know for sure we're going through with it. We didn't want an engagement that's like, maybe not. Like we picked the wrong person. Maybe I'm having doubts. No, like when you put a ring on it, we both wanted to be like, we know for sure, and we're not going back. And that's just what we wanted. And the truth is, I had been engaged before. I had been in other relationships before, and I've done all that. And I'm like, no, I don't want. If he goes to church with me, if he's on my Facebook page, if he put a ring on it, it's going to be for sure. Because I have no time for games and I wasn't that hard up for a man. I'm like, I'm good. So if I'm good, then I can be patient and wait on God. And if it's not God, we both even told each other if any time we feel like this wasn't it or God was showing us it's not it, we felt something in our spirit to stop, then we said we would just tell each other and it would be no hard feelings. We would love each other. We'd move on because too many times people like get caught up in, oh, I already got my ring. I got my dress. The invitations are out. Oh, this is the rest of your life.
Yeah, you don't want to play with
the rest of your life.
You don't want to play with this thing. Like literally, like, you know, I'm sorry, I'll cut you off.
That's okay, man.
So
I cut him off all the time.
Here's the thing, you know, when you're trying to choose somebody, and that's why you really have to get yourself together. There's so many impatient people out here, but here's the thing: when you get into a marriage, and some of you that may have been married or are married still, once you get in it, there's so many things. I mean, literally for myself, there's so many things that I could have been working on that literally it's challenging right now because I could have worked on certain character trait of myself or my patience or stuff.
You're pretty patient though.
Yeah, but you know,
you're great.
She don't know all because I don't say everything. You know what I'm saying? But I know.
Y'all, you do that. In other words, he be talking about me in his mind.
Yeah, but there's things as a man that I could have worked on when I was single. But if you spend your time single,
depressed.
It's like not even that. But if you spend your time single, it's like I'm trying to hurry up. Lord, I want to be married. Lord, don't let the rapture happen. I'm trying to get married. You know, or like it reminds me of when I was in high school. I was so ready to graduate. I'm ready to graduate. I'm ready to go to college. I'm ready to get up out of here. You know, I'm ready to go. And then I was in college. I went back to my high school and I cried when I came to a basketball game because I rushed it and I didn't take my time and enjoy it. But I couldn't go back though. Same thing when I graduated college, like so ready to get out, so ready to get out, so ready to get out.
Can you learn your lesson, babe?
Can I teach a lesson, please? I'm trying to talk to them about relationships.
Oh.
The moral of my story is don't be like that because once you get married, it ain't no going back. At least for the Christians, that's what we believe.
It shouldn't be.
So there ain't no divorce up in here. You know, we're not going back. So take it very seriously because it's the greatest decision of your life outside of, you know, receiving Jesus into your life, getting married. So take this time. Preparation time is never wasted time. Prepare, work on yourself. Go to singles conferences, like read books, like get with friends, spend some time alone.
Have fun.
Learn you.
Like just have fun too.
Because I'm telling you, once you get over to this side, it's not you anymore. Yeah, you're gonna have your time where you spend on your own, all that, but there's another person, and you have to prepare for that. It is, you know, things that you're struggling with, dealing with, they don't go away when you say I do. They're still there.
Yeah.
You have to deal with them. But the thing is, are you gonna deal with them beforehand, or are you gonna bring the baggage? Now you got to deal with it with another person, and now another person has to deal with what you're struggling with that you didn't deal with. It's a lot.
And let's talk about that though. Because to be real, we all have baggage. Let's just be honest. But the thing about it is, as much as you can heal in your single time, that's going to be a blessing to your marriage. So I still came with baggage into my marriage. He still came with baggage into our marriage. However, I feel like I can speak for myself.
I had a carry-on.
I mean, I don't feel like we had, I'm going to be real, I don't feel like we had a whole bunch, but we're human. That means we're imperfect, so we have baggage. But I feel like in my singleness, I dealt with a lot. So for example, you know, dealing with some of my bad breakups and stuff like that, I had to heal from those things because I could have brought those things into my marriage. And let me just be very transparent with you guys. The enemy still tries to bring up certain things, certain mindsets, or certain perceptions about men that I had in my past before I became single and satisfied. And so the struggle may try to come back, but you just have to denounce it, because what you don't want to do is make this man, or the man that God sends into your life, pay for everything that your exes did, because that's not fair to him. He's not that man, and he could really be trying to love you and do right by you, but you're bringing in your baggage. And I could attest to that even now. Like, I have to really watch sometimes things that I say, or my perspective sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, because some things from the past will try to come up. And it's like the Lord is really teaching me, like, but this is a good man. No, he's not perfect, but he does love you, and he really is trying to do good by you. So really watch what you're saying to him when you're angry, or watch what you're saying to him when you have situations. Don't treat him as if he is someone from your past, or don't treat him as like all other men, you know, the negative perceptions that we have, or stereotypes towards men. And I could be honest, as a woman, that can be challenging, because a lot of us, if we could be honest with ourselves, have seen a lot of hurt. We've seen a lot of pain. We've dealt with a lot of pain. We've dealt with being lied to, cheated on, getting rid of us and going to our friend, or so-called friend, or, you know what I'm saying? We've seen a lot. Some of you have been beaten, you know, like, we have dealt with a lot, and sometimes that could be really damaging to us. And I don't make light of it, because I've been a victim of it myself, but I'm saying, let's heal from it. Let's give it to God. Let's read books on it. Let's really learn ourselves. Let's spend time alone so that we can heal. And then when you do get with that person, it's still going to be a conscious effort to not bring that negativity into your marriage, because I thought I was 100% healed. Then I got married and saw that some stuff tries to seep through the cracks. But what you do is, and I'm learning, and he helps me, like, he tells me, like, you got to get in the word. You have to meditate on scripture. You have to say it out loud. You can't fight thoughts with thoughts. Negative thoughts come, you have to say things out loud. Like, if you feel like, man, all men are dogs, and you have to say, no, there is a man out there that's going to love me like Christ loves the church. All men cheat. Nope. There is, like, you have to speak that, because, man, the assault against our hearts as women, especially in the society we live in, man, it's tough. It truly is. And I know from firsthand. And in marriage, there's struggles that I'm struggling with that I didn't have to deal with when I was single. Because as I said before, the enemy hates marriage. So you get in a good, godly marriage, and then now he's trying to bombard your mind with thoughts, and your man ain't nothing like that. But you have to recognize it and deal with it. And that's what I'm learning now. Recognize it. That ain't God. Deal with it. Because if not,
like that.
because if not, you'll be in bondage in your mind. So whether single or married, like, it's all our perspective. It's our mindsets. And we got to deal with it, y'all, because if you sit here and you stay sad and lonely and depressed in your singleness, you're going to get married and you're going to be highly disappointed, because those same spirits, that same negativity is going to try to plague you in your marriage. I have a great marriage. And then, you know, like, as soon as I got in, it was amazing. And then the enemy started trying to bring loneliness. And I'm like, okay, how am I lonely? I just got married. Like, I wasn't even that lonely when I was single. Like, so it's the enemy. He tries these different tactics, and I just don't want you guys to be disappointed and feel like, oh, as soon as I got married, everything's gonna be great. No, things will be great. They can be great. This is great, but there comes challenge with that. So the key to it is getting a good relationship with God and realizing that he's gonna be the only one that can fulfill you and make you whole. Yep. And some people may feel like, well, how do I do that? Well, there's so many things, you know. Obviously, I wrote the book, Single and Satisfied, The Single Woman's Guide to Fulfillment. If you don't have it, get it. And I don't say that just because, oh, I wrote a book, I'm trying to make money. I didn't write that book to make money. There's a lot of other things I could do to make money that has nothing to do with writing a book that really pours my heart out of my struggles, my triumphs, my life in the past, and how I became single and satisfied. I wrote that book to help women because I struggled at a time when I was single. Then I got to be fulfilled, and I'm like, man, there is like lemonade from these lemons. Like, you can enjoy life and be thriving and be healed. And then you can wait, and then a godly man finds you when you're not even checking for a man at all. So I wrote that. If you don't have it, get it. Like, even right now, this whole month, I'm doing a sale for, I don't even remember the sale. What is it? Oh, $10. $10, I'm sorry. Free shipping, because I want to bring the price down, because I want to get it out to you guys. But even with those who read my book, they're like, I love the book. It really helps me. But they want that practical everyday. How do I get through it? So if you're interested too, I'm going to be having a 10-week course where you're going to have live videos with me, and we're going to go through it chapter by chapter. If you've already read it, great. If you don't, get the book. And there's going to be a corresponding workbook that I just finished it. But it'll be complete when we start. I believe I'm going to start in April. I'll give you guys the correct date, but it's going to be a 10 week. So 10 days, once a week, course where we're going to go through chapter by chapter. So you'll read the chapter, then we'll go through the workbook, and I'm going to give you the practical ways of dealing with these things. So I give you the book so you can read through it so you can heal, but then I give you the workbook so we can work through it together, because it can be tough. I'm going to be honest. It can be very lonely being single. You can feel like you're all alone. You can feel like nobody understands what you're going through. You can feel like everybody's engaged. Everybody got a boo. Everybody going on vacation with somebody. Everybody got it. It just always looks like everybody's doing well. It always looks like somebody has somebody except you. And I know that. I'm not too far away from that because I went through that season. And some people are like, girl, you married. But don't discredit my season, boo, because you weren't there when I struggled in it. And I didn't meet him till 34, got married at 35. So I know about being single and being past that age where people are starting to discount you and say, what's wrong with you? You in your mid-30s now. What's wrong with you? God did a quick work with us. I was in my mid-30s right when I met him. And then it was like, boom, you met him. Boom, you're engaged. Boom, you're married. God could do a quick work with you. But you have to trust God. He's so funny. You have to trust the Lord. And don't discredit someone's season. Like, I've been through it. I know what you're going through. I had those nights where I had to cry myself to sleep for a season because I was just so lonely and didn't know what to do with myself. And I felt so tempted to go out with men. I felt so tempted to have sex. I felt so tempted to go back to my old ways. And it was like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And that's insanity. That's what the definition is. Keep doing the same thing and think you're going to get different results. You're not. I had to be dogmatic and saying, I want healing, I want freedom, and I want to really live a life where I know my value, whether a man recognizes that or not. And you're going to go through some tough times. But again, you're going to make it through just like I made it through. And you can, enjoy life and just really, really love your life where you are right now. Because I'm telling you, sis, if you don't learn how to do that, you're never going to have that fulfillment. I don't care if you ever get a man. He's going to fulfill you temporarily. Then you're going to feel empty again.
And fellas.
And fellas too. Even though I don't know, is fellas watching the show?
They might be. It's going to be on my page too.
So, and fellas.
Boo-boo.
You call me boo-boo. And fellas. So stay encouraged because there are godly men and women who are rarities, who they are waiting for someone, who wants to do right by God, wants to do right by them, is looking for a person who wants to live pure until marriage and all those things. And some people might say, what's the big deal in that? Honestly, it's a huge deal because I've been on both sides where sex just changes things. And if you read my book, I talk about it in there in more detail, but it definitely does. And there's such a beauty and a blessing in waiting until your marriage. And I know the difference because, again, I've been in relationships where I've had sex, and then I've had relationships where I haven't had sex. And then it's my last time being married, and we didn't have sex till marriage. And it is such a blessing. And I know the difference. I feel the difference. And so I'm very blessed because of that. And so if you want to know more about that, again, that's in my book as well. But we just want to bless you guys. We just want to encourage you that if you're a man or a woman waiting for that special someone, trust God. Don't settle for less, y'all. Man, please don't. We both almost did several times, and we just got to the point where we were like, we're done. We don't want to settle. We want what God has for us. We want what we desire. We knew what we wanted, and maybe you don't know everything that you want, but you know what you don't want. Mm-hmm. And it's like, ask God, Lord, I desire marriage, but help me to enjoy my singleness. Help me to find my fulfillment in you. Help me to truly learn how to love myself and how to live a life that's worth living. You don't have to wait for somebody to rescue you, sis. You gotta wait for no man to rescue you. Christ already did over 2,000 years ago. He loves you.
Rescue.
Oh. He loves you. And so you want to make sure, that you're seeking him first and waiting on him, because you're going to regret it if you wait if you don't wait and you just settle out of loneliness, or because at least he go to church. I don't know if you're really loving God, but he go to church, or he got a good job, or he, this or that. It's like, okay, it's more to having a great marriage than he got a job. Yeah, that's necessary, but it's way more to that. And it's way more to being equally yoked with someone than, oh, thank God they go to church. It's a lot of Satan in disguises that go to church, honey, and they can quote the scriptures. So that's why it's important for you to have a relationship with God and to be able to have discernment, meaning wisdom and intuition, spiritual intuition, to be able to know when somebody's trying to play you. And again, we make mistakes. You may think somebody's real and realize they're not. It's okay. But if you keep sex out of it and getting all soul ties and all that, you could be like, okay, I thought this was working. It's not. We're not equally yoked. 2 fingers. I'm sorry, we're going different directions. I need to move on. And it's okay to do that. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to be alone and not be talking to no guys and not be going out with nobody. I did that for years. And people was like, what's wrong with you? You don't even want to go out with a man? I was tired, y'all. I was tired of dealing with counterfeits when I said, God can send me a man when it's time. I'm good. Again, nothing's wrong with courting or dating to see if you're equally yoked, to have a godly friend, but just keep it like that. And if you see they're not the one, it's okay to dismiss them out of your life. It's okay. Like, don't feel bad. Don't feel pressured, because it's your life and you're that important. So, do you have any last words for them, babe?
No, this has been a good session. All I can say is just be patient. Don't be overran with anxiety. Look at this. Men and women will continue to be on the planet. So if you're a male or female looking for that potential spouse or whatever, they're going to always be on the planet. The good thing is, your husband or wife is already born and they're on the planet because they're your age or a little older, you're a little younger, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So just be patient, take your time, enjoy life, and, make your request known to the Lord, and he will give you peace, and you just move forward and improve yourself and do things that speak faith. Like, I'm going to get myself together because when that person comes, I want to be a great blessing to them.
Yeah.
Drop the mic. Boom. No, that's the mentality.
A great thing.
It's always giving. So you wanna get in a relationship for what you can give, not for what you can get. And I know that's the mentality. That mentality is not popular, but that's the mentality of the Lord.
Yeah.
What can you give? Not what can they do for me? What can I do to bless them and be a blessing to their lives? That's the mentality. So, and to be able to have that mentality takes a lot of preparation. It takes time in the Word. It takes submitting yourself, to God. So, as we close, that's all I have to say. Yeah. Just work on you and work on living a life for God and putting Him first, and things will begin to take care of themselves.
Yeah. That's great advice. So pretty much that is it. And I'm glad you said that about giving, because in your singleness, you could think about yourself more. It's just the truth. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you are single. And so don't take that for granted. It was a sweet gift for me. That season was a gift for me. I was able to accomplish a lot. And I'm glad, because now I don't regret being in this season where it is more of a focus on loving, forgiving, patience. What can I do for my husband? And vice versa. Doesn't mean you still can't focus on yourself at times too, because I do. Self-care, self-love is very important. And I still have projects I work on, obviously, and different things, passions that I pursue. But again, it's not all about you anymore. It's another person. And that's a huge difference from going from single to being in a marriage. And so enjoy your singleness and enjoy your life. And don't let anybody pressure you to jump into any situation or relationship because you're still single. It's okay. And be strong enough to know that it's something so beautiful. And yes, two people coming together in a marriage, but there's also something so beautiful about one person, standing boldly in their purpose alone. And you're never completely alone. You have God. So we just want to encourage you guys. We love you guys. If you have any questions, put them at the bottom of this video. We were going to do a live, but we decided to do this way. So if you have any questions, we'd love to answer your questions. We're probably going to continue doing some videos, but I'll let you know when the next one is scheduled. But again, if you don't have Single and Satisfied, the Single Woman's Guide to Fulfillment, you can go to charbria.com. Also, I'll give you guys soon more information about that 10-week course. I'm so excited about that. That's going to be the Single and Satisfied, the workbook that's going to go along with that, and some other great things that are going to be coming up soon as well. So go ahead. You can follow me at Charbria Shine on all social media. You can go to charbria.com for more free resources, courses, and blogs. And if you're single and you're not a part of the Single and Satisfied movement, join our Facebook group of Single and Satisfied. And if you so ever would like, you can also follow my husband at Lewis Shine on all social media. So we love you guys, and stay safe. Do not fear. God has us. Meditate on Psalms 91 in these times we're living in. And that's about it. Bye.
See you guys.
On the Shines. Talk
Peace.
to you soon.
Holla.